Good evening, everyone, and welcome to what we are calling Pathways Training 101, but I'm calling it Pathways Training 101, maybe on steroids. And I apologize if you are here for Basecamp Manager training. I will cover what a Basecamp manager needs to know specifically to onboard those new members. That is so, so important. My name is Barbara Kasser, and I am a member of the District 47 Pathways Training Team. Now, I am committed to Toastmasters, to District 47, and yes, to Pathways. I am currently a president of Boca Speakeasy in Boca. We are hybrid, and we always welcome guests, whether you want to come in person or whether you want to come in Zoom. I've served the district as a club extension chair. I served the same year I served with Anson. So Anson and I are like best buds here. I was a Pathways guide and ambassador in 2018 when Pathways rolled out in our district. And I've been on a couple of Pathways training teams for the district since that time. Now, this may sound weird, and it probably is, but Pathways has become one of my hobbies. And that's why I am always happy to share what I know with other Toastmasters. Now, tonight's training is designed to demystify Pathways, whether you are brand new, whether you are an experienced Toastmaster in Pathways, or even if you're a Basecamp manager, and to share some very important information. And when I say demystify as we go on, and I hope that everybody leaves here with a new information and something that you didn't know. Now, I couldn't do this alone. I absolutely couldn't. And I have some really heavy hitters helping me here tonight. First, I have Lana Fink, our Division D director, who has graciously volunteered or was voluntold to be our chat monitor. And I'm really appreciative of her help. I have the head of the training team, Kathy Dyke, who is here with us tonight, and Anson Munnings, who is running our tech. So if something goes wrong, you know who to go to. And both Kathy and Anson are DTMs, as am I. I just got my second DTM. So you can see, and we are committed to District 47 and also committed to Toastmasters. You are in good hands. Now, just a few things. There will be a Q&A at the end. So please, any question that you have, it will be answered. And if you have a question, post it on chat with your name and your club number and maybe your area number if you can, or district number. I always get those messed up. And please do us a favor and keep yourself, everybody's on, what do you call that? Quiet right now. But keep that way, because there's nothing like a barking dog, including mine, to mess up a great training. Okay, let's get started. And okay, next. Now, Pathways at a glance. Now, people always say, well, what is Pathways? And Pathways is Toastmasters educational program. And Pathways is a learning management system, and it lives in a separate website within the Toastmasters International site, and that is called Basecamp. Now, people get this messed up all the time, but you must be logged into Toastmasters International to access Pathways. Currently, Pathways is divided into 11 separate paths. And each path contains 5 levels that increase in complexity. Now, Pathways is accessed online, although individual elements can be printed. They can also be saved. We started out Pathways with 10 paths, and then one more was added, and that was engaging humor. Personally, I took the engaging humor path. I thought it was going to be wonderful. I didn't think it didn't teach me how to be funny, but it is a good path. Every path has different core competencies, and some are mixed. And you see there's public speaking, there's interpersonal communication, there's strategic leadership, there's management. But if you look at this chart, every one of them has number 5, confidence. Now, I bet that everyone who is in this room likes confidence and needs confidence. I know I do. Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motor Company, has this quote. He says, when you have confidence, you can do anything. And I can tell you that working in Toastmasters and working in Pathways, yes, I have gained more confidence. Now, if you look here, you see some green check marks on the 11 paths. They're a little hard to see, I agree, but those are the paths that will be available for purchase in the new learning management system coming up. Now, Pathways is changing. We can't tell you exactly what it's going to look like. We haven't seen it yet, but we do know that in late October, November, a new Pathways learning management system will launch. And this is not bad news. It's good news because now the new one will have mobile access. If you have tried to access Pathways on your phone, you know it doesn't work. Social media sharing. They say you'll be able to share your awards, your levels on Facebook, on Instagram. I asked about TikTok and I was told, don't ask about that one. So I don't know. One good thing that I will talk about this for Basecamp managers is one-step approval of levels and paths. Right now, if there's approval, you have to do it in Basecamp and then go over to Club Central. So this is going to be one click. And if you have somebody who is visually impaired, there is supposed to be better accessibility. And finally, easier navigation. If you're an experienced Pathways person, you know that this one should have 10 stars next to it because sometimes easier navigation, if you're experienced in Pathways, you get used to it, but easier navigation for all. Now, 6 paths going forward will be available for purchase. Dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, and visionary communication. Let's stop here and explain this. 6 paths available for purchase. If you're not in one of those paths, your first thought is, well, what if I am not, say, effective coaching? My path is effective coaching. Will I be able to use it and finish it? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. If you're in one of the 5 paths that is not on this list, notice that it says for purchase. The other paths will be carried and available for the next probably at least 2 years. You just can't buy them or get one. So if you have one of those paths that you're working in, don't panic. There seems to be this general panic. The new ones will be available for these on this list will be available for purchase, and they will have all of the great features of the new LMS, but you will still be able to work in your existing paths if they're not on this list. The current Pathways Basecamp, the one that we know, and love will not be available. There's going to be a blackout from October 9th through October 25th, 2024. That's coming up really quick. And notice that there is an asterisk because it might extend a little bit longer. We hope not, but Toastmasters International said there's going to be testing and they hope that it will end October 25th. So that's the best that we know. Now, in pathways, we talk about levels. If you are a base camp manager, this is something that you can share with your club. And if you are just learning pathways, there are 5 distinct levels. Level 1, mastering fundamentals. Level 2, learning your style. Level 3, increasing knowledge. Level 4, building skills. And level 5, demonstrating expertise. Now, level 1 is the same no matter which path you choose. You've got an icebreaker, writing a speech with purpose, then intro to vocal variety and body language. Those are the projects. And finally, evaluation and feedback. Level 2, there are 2 required projects, and then introduction to Toastmasters mentoring, and then level 3, level 4, and level 5. All different. There's a required project and then some electives, and then every path has to complete the path or reflect on your path to complete it. That's a 10 to 12 minute speech. Now notice it says a minimum. If you want in level 3, there are, I think, 13 electives. It might be a little bit more or less. If somebody wants to do more, they can, because it's a minimum. Same with level 4. You only have to pick one and do it. But if for some reason a member wanted to do more, they can. It's up to them. Now we talk about pathways projects, and I like to think of them as the building blocks for each path. And each path has a set of 14 projects across all 5 levels. And this is a combination of required projects and electives. Now, most projects require a speech. You do something, you learn something, you get something, and then when you're finished with it, you share what you learned with your club with a speech. But some don't. There's the active listening project. There, you are the table topics master. That's an easy project. But no matter which project you're working on, you must, and I should underline that and star it, take the post-assessment every time you complete a project to mark it complete. Otherwise, the system doesn't know you finished it. And we'll learn how to do that. And you can share this if you're a VPE, you can share this with your members, because people say, well, I gave the speech, but how come I'm not getting credit for it? This is why. Now, this seems, if you're an experienced Toastmaster, you know this, but how do you get to pathways? Well, you have to log into Toastmasters International. Well, you put in your email address, and this has to be the email address that you registered with Toastmasters when you signed up, and your Toastmasters password. And if you forgot your email address or password, there are some forgot links. And here we are. Now we're registered. We've logged into Pathways International. And you can see that I stole this slide because I am not Kathy Dyke. But once you are in Toastmasters International, and I said that Pathways lives inside of Toastmasters, Pathways lives inside of Toastmasters International. See, where can we take you today? And whether it's Kathy or John or Barbara, just scroll down a little bit and you've got this nifty thing called Learning Hub. Now there's other ways to get in there too, but Learning Hub will get you in. And you're going to choose path. You're going to choose path, $20. Does a new member have to pay that $20? No, because the cost of the first path, people say it's free. Guess what?
You can
It's
save
not.
money. You buying me stuff, but what if it's not? Say, well,
I'm sorry, what? The cost of your first path is covered by your new member fee, and then additional paths are $20. I heard, it may not be true, but I heard that when the system gets in the new LMS, everyone can get a free path, but don't hold me to that. I don't know that that's true or not. That could be just one of those rumors. If you are helping a new member choose a path, if you're a VPE, or you want a new path, you're going to click that link, and then you have to answer 3 questions. Choose your desired path language. For most of us, that's going to be English. Choose how you would like to access your path materials, and you're going to choose digital resources. And then here, how would you like to select your learning path? You can view all path options or take an assessment. If you take an assessment, you will go through a series of questions. Do you like this? Do you not like this? And at the end of many questions, the system will bounce up 3 paths that they think you would like. It's entirely up to you which way you want to select your path. Me, I always want to see my path options, but some people like the assessment. If you don't like the 3 paths that they choose, go again. Just remember, at this point in time, choose one of the 6. And what are they? Dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, and visionary communication. Now, people say, why are those the only ones that were retained for purchase? Because Toastmasters International did an analysis, and these were the 6 most popular. Okay, now path is selected. You're going to start your first project. And this is the screen that you see. You notice on the right, you've got my feedback, my badges, and my documents. When Pathways first came out and was first introduced, we told people the My Documents folder was a great place to store your electronic evaluations, to store copies of your speeches, to store whatever you wanted. But at this point in time, I should have a big red X there, because when the system changes, the My Documents folder is going to go away. If you have something in that folder or in my badges or my feedback, you need to download it, get rid of it, put it on a folder in your computer. Paths and learning, you've got this on the left side. Speech evaluations, a speech evaluation for any speech that is in Pathways, any project, and then tutorials and resources. And this is a great tutorials and resources, a great way to learn something. If you want to learn how to do something, you can just go into tutorials and resources, and there will be a tutorial for what you want, most likely what you want to learn in Pathways. Launch a project. Let's see. I'm hoping that we can do this, and I don't see the link. It should be here, but it's not. So we're going to skip that right now. Oh, here it comes. Okay.
Hi, I'm Melissa. Today I want to show you how to access Pathways projects. Start by going to the Paths and Learning page. On this page, you'll see your path. Click Open Curriculum and then select your level. While you can access projects in any level, it's recommended that you start in Level 1. Every project has an Activate button. Clicking Activate is just the way you indicate that you're ready to start working in the project. Give the page a second to refresh. Once it does, the project is ready to launch. Your project may open in a new tab or a separate window, depending on your browser. The first page of every project looks like this. Let's take a quick look inside. If this is your first project, you may want to review the navigation page. When you're ready to keep going, just click the arrow to the far right.
He was lying there.
Every project begins with an introduction so you know what to expect, and a Your Assignment page, where you can read what you'll be doing and download a project checklist. And that's it. Use the arrows to keep working in your project and have fun.
Have fun. That's the operative term. Have fun. Now, here is a snapshot of what your level 1 is going to look like. And remember, you have to, people say, well, why do I have to activate before I can look at the project? I don't have an answer to why. You just do. You just do. So don't worry about the why. Before you can look at your project, you have to activate. And when you click the activate button, then you will see launch. So activate first and then launch. Now you don't have to do them in level 1 in order. If you're a brand new Toastmaster, sure, do the icebreaker first. It's a 4 to 6 minute speech and it introduces you to the club and it gets you used to public speaking. But you can see this person in persuasive influence decided to do the evaluation and feedback. And when that person, that member, completed the evaluation and feedback, he or she then completed the project. And we know that because we see this check mark. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Now, after you complete a project, Toastmasters International sends you an email and it says, basically, what did you think of the project? Evaluate it. And you also have 10 days, this evaluate button on your project. If you want to evaluate the project and tell Toastmasters International what you thought of the project, go ahead and click the evaluate. That'll go away in 10 days. I've never evaluated any of my projects. I don't know anybody that did, but you can if you want to. On this side, you've got level 1. This is level 1. You want to see what's in level 2? Click the radio button. Level 3, click here. 4, 5. Path completion. You're not going to see anything in there until you finish all the required projects in level 1 through 5. Now, when you finish all of the required projects in levels 1 through 5, you will see something down at the bottom, level 1 completion, or whatever path you're in, persuasive influence. And you will walk through those steps and you will be able to print a certificate. In our club, we actually print certificates for our members, but you can print one yourself. And you can see here that the member whose path we're looking at, whose page we're looking at, is 20% of level 1. And this counter right here 4% of the entire path is completed. Level 1 project deep dive. Everybody has to do level 1. So you start out with the icebreaker, 4 to 6 minutes, 4 to 6 minutes. Then you go on to writing a speech with purpose, 5 to 7 minutes. Then introduction to vocal variety and body language, 5 to 7 minutes. Evaluation and feedback. And this is a great project because you give a speech, you get feedback. Then you give a second speech using the feedback that you received in your evaluation, or you can also give a different speech, but just try to use that feedback that you got. And you are also required to do a member evaluation. Now, new members say, well, I'm not ready to do an evaluation. And a lot of longtime Toastmasters say, well, nobody's ready to do an evaluation when they're in level 1, but sure you are. You know what you heard, you know what you like. This is a great time for someone to learn how to do an evaluation. And then level completion. What happens at level completion? An email, when the project is completed properly, an email goes out to the Basecamp managers to approve the level. If we have somebody who is in more than one club, a dual member, or sometimes people are in more than one club, it's up to the member to say, I want this to go to club 1, club 2, club 3, or club 4. And that doesn't happen here in Basecamp. It happens in Club Central. Sometimes that happens successfully, sometimes because it's a 2-click process. The member completes it in, say, Boca Speakeasy, but wants it to go to City of Delray, and whoops, that didn't happen. Can it be reversed? Yes, you can call, the officers can call Toastmasters International and get it reversed, but it's a cumbersome process. So in the new version of the learning management system, that's not going to happen. Completing a project. Again, members, existing members, new members, finish a speech and say, well, I finished my level 4 because I gave the mandatory speech and I gave the elective, but they didn't mark the projects complete. So here's just a quick way to do it. If you're a VPE, you can share this step with your members. And if you're a member, maybe this is something you knew, maybe not. You simply open the project, use the right arrows to move to assess your skills after, or navigate to the drop-down interactive page. There's a menu at the bottom of your main page. I call that the golden ticket because it will move you through. Instead of using your right arrows, you can just move right through, answer each question, and then click the submit. Now there's assess your skills before in a path, in a project rather, and assess your skills after. And you can compare where you were before you started and where you were after. Many people think you have to do both. It's a good idea to do both, but you do not have to. You only have to assess your skills after, and then click the submit button to get credit for the project. Managing pathways. One thing to do is plan your speeches. What does that mean? Well, when are you going to speak? Somebody said that they were in level 4, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but you're in level 4. When are you going to do your elective speech? Look at your agenda. When can you fit in that level 4 speech? Think about when you can get it done. Plan now to complete level 1 and level 2 as soon as possible. Couple reasons for that. Main one is that I can think of is if you want to speak in the international speech contest, you must have completed level 2. And if you are a new Toastmaster, but you want to be in the international speech contest, you must have level 2 completed. And we say, never waste a speech. You will hear that around Toastmasters quite a bit. What does it mean? Well, maybe somebody in your club was supposed to speak and they didn't show up. Maybe you have a speech that you've been working on. If you give that speech, now that speech isn't wasted. Just coordinate with your club's VPE to record all speeches and all your roles. Some other people say, don't speak for free. But if you give a speech, see where it fits into pathways. Try not to waste a speech. There's always a way that we can make it work with your projects. Please, October 9th through October 25th, plan for the upcoming shutdown. If you have completed any projects that are not showing complete on Basecamp, mark them complete now. It's easy to give a speech and then forget to mark it complete. If you've completed any levels or paths that have not been submitted on Basecamp, submit them for approval now and ensure that your VPE knows they're ready to be approved. And if you have any pending approvals on Basecamp, maybe you submitted something 2 months ago. It happens.
All right.
It
And
has.
there are certain customs laws that is standard.
Talk to your VPE and just ask, can you get this approved as quickly as possible and get it submitted in Club Central? Because October 9th is coming up pretty quickly. Club Central submissions. If you're a member, maybe you don't know that everything that is submitted in Basecamp has to be submitted in Club Central. So just confirm that all levels and path completions that you've achieved are recorded in Club Central by checking your education awards in the Achievement Board section of My Home. Now, this may be beyond some members. Ask for help. Ask your VPE for help. It's simple to do, or reach out to one of us and we'll show you how to do it. And if you find out that you've completed a level or a path that isn't showing in your education awards, well, go back and talk to your VPE and ensure that they are submitted. And always keep in the back of your mind, pathways will be unavailable for that period of time, October 9th through the 25th. But don't stop speaking in your meetings. What should you do? Well, before the pathway shutdown, download copies of project evaluations or projects to see your project objectives. It's easy enough to do now. We have time. And always keep a record of all the speeches that you deliver. If you're on Free Toast Host, that's easy to do. But if you're not, if your club doesn't use Free Toast Host, maybe they use a different type of way that speeches are recorded, just keep your own personal record. And communication here is key. Communicate with your VPE and other club officers. Always communicate, 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 because we're all in this together. Your club should be your family. Your VPE is in charge of your education, recording your education. So work together, everyone. Let's work together. Keep a record of your speeches. Make sure that they're recorded. And I'm looking forward to the new updated LMS, and I hope you are too. Now, we have some resources here for you. There available now, and we can send this out to you. There's an email address that I'm going to show you in just a minute. You can ask just for this particular slide, or you can ask for the whole presentation, and I will be happy to send it to you, and you can share it. If you're an officer, you can share it just with your club, or you can use it if you're a member, share it just for yourself. But these are resources that you can use now. There's the welcome page for Pathways. There's what you will learn in all paths and levels. Just keep in mind, we want to stay with just the 6. Pathways learning experience, some information on the navigator, and then the navigator itself. Q&A, and I'm going to stop my screen share now and see who has questions.
The only question that I see in the chat, I think you already answered, was if the presentation was going to be sent out. So Barbara, you said you were going to go ahead and either share it or give an email address where we could ask for it so that they could have it if they needed it, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I think I ended too quickly, but we will send that out. We'll send out the email address to everybody who was here tonight.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
Hello, Barbara. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Barbara, I am the VP of Boca Raton Advanced Toastmasters. I know there has been a transition here on the Pathways, and as the VP, I have 2 members. They should have view pending requested, but on my Pathways as the VP, I don't find anything. Is there an answer for that? Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm not sure what you're asking me here.
I have 2 members that should have pending requests because they finished their levels too. And this pending does not appear to me. In the old times, we used to receive emails warning us about this pending, but it hasn't happened. And I know there's been some changes on the Pathways.
Well, there haven't been any changes now yet. So I'm not quite sure. Kathy, can you understand what he's asking?
So if the program hasn't prompted the email, you have to go back to what Barbara was showing you, where they have to complete that, assess your skills after, and then there's another box, mark complete. When all the projects have been completed for any level, that final box, mark complete, is going to come up on the level, sorry, and they have to mark it complete, and that is what generates the email to the VPE.
Okay, thank you.
There are also times, though, I will tell you, where that email that's supposed to be generated, just for some reason, doesn't come. So if you go in as base camp manager and you see that everything is completed correctly, then I would talk to the member and I would go ahead then and approve it. And you'll go as the base camp manager, you'll go in and you'll see, is it waiting to be approved? If it's not waiting to be approved, then you've got to sit down with the member and see what got missed. But if it's waiting to be approved and you didn't get the email, yeah, Toastmasters International, I don't know. I've had that happen too, where it doesn't come and we still have to do it. So go log in as base camp manager and see if it's waiting for approval. Okay. Anybody else have a question?
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Very good presentation. You mentioned earlier that if you have a path that wasn't approved, say 2 months or maybe even 3, my question is, and it was done within the past Toastmasters year. My question is, that email that is received from TI, as long as we can locate that email from TI, because it's locate that email from TI, then we could go ahead and approve that member's path. because they got a email from TI, but the awards was never submitted. So can you clarify when you say that even if you had done it 2 months ago, as long as we could locate the evidence of the email, we could go back and approve?
Well, instead of worrying too much about the email, what I would do is I would go into Basecamp as Basecamp manager, and I would look at that member's individual record, and I would make sure that all 5 levels were completed correctly. And then I would go ahead and approve it.
Okay, thanks.
You know, somehow the email is important, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So just go as Basecamp manager, take a look at what the member's record looks like. And sometimes people swear, oh yes, in your case, because you had an email previously, but sometimes people say, yeah, I submitted it and I saw the congratulations page. But you know what happens? And this has happened to me over the years so many times. People see the congratulations page because they answer all the questions. You know, you go and you answer the five questions or whatever, and then you don't click the submit button and you move one page to the right, and all of a sudden you see that congratulations page. Well, the system is not smart. It shows you the congratulations page, but unless the member actually hits submit, and you'll know that because when you take a look at the individual projects and you don't see a check mark, you'll know that it wasn't done correctly. Does that help?
Yes, it does, because your answer clearly, but once there's an email, then we're sure that it went through, and we could always go back and find that email. So will this, if it was never submitted, will that request for submission remains on that member's part?
Sure, if they did all the work, all they have to do is go back in, answer the 5 questions at the end, the post assessment, and then it'll be fine.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you get credit for the work you did. You just have to answer the post assessment. Okay, I see a hand raised. Juan? Okay, Juan?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can all hear you.
Thank you very much. As a Basecamp manager, one thing that I find out is sometimes you have, like you mentioned it, you have to go to 2 different places to get approval before the customer get the point or get the certificate. Now, how do you handle when it shows in once but doesn't show in the other?
Well, let me back up here. Which one is it showing in? Is it showing
Sometimes,
Basecamp or Club Central?
sometimes shows on Club Center, but not in Basecamp, and sometimes I think it's the opposite.
All right. In Club Central, as soon as someone submits a level, say I submit a level 2 for you, level 3 is waiting to be approved. So it's very easy to accidentally submit level 3. So that's how people accidentally submit levels ahead of the time that they should be submitted. And there's no check that says, no, it's not done in Basecamp, because the 2 are not linked. And you can tell me that they should be, but what I've had to say is the word shouldn't be in the English language, because it doesn't work. Right. What has to happen is first go back to Basecamp and make sure that it's done properly, that everything is approved properly, and then go over to Club Central. Now, if something is approved ahead of the time in Club Central, say somebody completed level 3, and now all of a sudden level 4 is approved in Club Central, but not in base camp. 2 things you can do. 1, you can call Toastmasters International, or you can wait until they finish level 4 and then wait for them to catch up. Because it's out of
Thank
sync.
you very much. Thank you very much.
When we have that one-click approval, this problem will go away. And it is a problem. I know in one club that I was working with, someone finished level 1 and the VPE clicked them all the way through in Club Central through level 5, just accidentally. So it looked like they finished the path, but they had just finished level 1. But this problem should go away when we have the one-click approval with the new LMS. Okay. Marcus, how can I help you?
Yeah, question. Oh, I'm beyond help, but I'm
No.
actually I had a rather overzealous new member who clicked through every speech on his level 1 and right after he gave the icebreaker, and now I have the approval for all 4 levels in base camp. I see that there's a deny button there, approve/deny. What happens if I click the deny button? Because I know I'm having a conversation with him about how to do this right. But what happens if I click the deny button? Is that
Well,
deny
there's
everything?
he won't get 40 lashes and he won't be publicly humiliated or anything like that. That's only between you and the member. And you can tell him, you accidentally submitted a level for approval and I denied it because you didn't complete all the speeches. So I denied it. And when you do all the speeches, finish all the projects and do all the speeches, you'll submit it again.
Okay.
And then but yeah, it's not a public thing.
Yeah.
So
So he
nobody
clicked.
knows.
So then he'd have to click at the end the submit level or whatever whatever that last thing
Complete
is
level,
called.
right.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right,
But
appreciate that.
yeah, but it's not a public thing. Nobody knows. It's just between you and the member.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I
And
didn't know if it erased everything off of his.
no,
Yeah.
more people have done it than you would believe.
Okay, gotcha.
Lana.
I was gonna say I was guilty of that myself when I started, right? I was like, okay, boop, 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 and I got done with it. And I said, Michelle, I'm ready to complete the level. Michelle Leeway, and she's like, Lana, honey, you haven't given the speeches yet. And I'm like, oh, wait, what? Because when you're in corporate America, you just like go through the training, right? Like there's not you stop here, you give a speech, you get it wasn't. And then I realized that Toastmasters is a marathon, not a sprint, right? This is my whole thing. So yes, I have done that before, Marcus, trust me. I was like, shoot.
Yeah, the system as it is right now, it doesn't encourage members to make mistakes, but it doesn't discourage members to make mistakes. But the way that I see it, our goal, if we are officers, if we're base camp managers, we're policemen, we want to make sure that everybody gets their speeches in, but we also want people to have a wonderful time and have a wonderful experience. So, we just kind of make sure that it works okay and just have them do it again. When the system, though, and this is something that we need to be aware of, though, because when the system shuts down and Toastmasters International goes through and updates for the new LMS, if there's a mismatch, say that there's a mismatch, somebody has all these approvals in base camp, but not in Club Central, or approvals in Club Central, but not in base camp, that's going to get kicked out. So if you know of somebody like that, get it fixed now. We have this cushion of time to get fixed now. And try to get as many speeches in as you can now. Finish. I don't want to always refer to projects as speeches because some of the projects have such wonderful objectives. So take a look at the objectives and encourage your members, if you are VPEs or officers, to look at the objectives, because as Lana said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And some of the projects have such great objectives. And if you take a little time and look at the objectives, people learn how to do things that they didn't know how to do before, and then give a speech about them. And really, that's what Pathways is about. Learning how to do something that maybe you didn't know how to do before, and then give a speech about it and share that information with your club. Rather than just getting up and saying, oh, it's this project, volunteer in your organization. Yeah, I'm going to give a speech about that. Well, then, you know, you can, but you lose the whole flavor of what that project is about. Right. So encourage people to take a look at, if anything, just the project objectives, but also the whole project, because there's so much that's rich in there that they can learn from. I know I have, and I encourage everyone to do that. Okay. Any other questions?
There aren't any more in the chat, so I don't know if anybody else has any questions. You're going to come off of mute. Oh, yes, Alita.
Yes, Alita.
Yeah, I had a question because I am a member of 3 separate clubs, 2 in Pennsylvania and 1 in District 47. And when I go on to Toastmasters International, before I go anywhere, my 3 clubs come up.
Right.
And I click on the one that I want, what I'm working on to go toward. And so then if I'm working on a particular pathways, and I've always gone through the single club, I just assumed that when I hit the mark complete, that it goes to that club that I've been working. Is that true or not?
For the level?
For the level, and I believe the whole pathway too. I thought it just went right to whichever club I was logged into when I mark it complete.
You know,
it would go to those base camp managers for that particular club.
It is my understanding that when we first started with Pathways, you logged into, say, Boca Speakeasy and City of Delray, 2 different clubs. And when you finished your level and marked it complete, because you were logged into one club or the other, the approval in base camp only showed up in one club.
Right.
And then somewhere along the line, and I don't know when this was, it now shows up in every club that you belong to.
Well, but yeah, I think it's the credit that goes to, I think it's it does show up. Once you've got it all done,
right,
your awards will show up wherever you are. But as far as for the distinguished club plan,
for
the dashboard thing,
for the dashboard,
that's what I meant. Yeah, the credit.
Well, yes and no, because if you wanted to go to your Florida club and one of your Pennsylvania clubs clicks it, it's going to go to your Pennsylvania club.
Yeah.
And that, unfortunately, I am hoping that gets fixed. I don't know when it changed, but you have to let when you submit it, you're the VPE. Well, you can't approve your own information. So as soon as you submit it or before, you have to tell your VPE or your president, one of your base camp managers, hey, I'm submitting level 5, jump on there and approve it, because otherwise, and it's a big problem, but I'm hopeful that this will, I don't know when it changed. I just noticed that it changed And Toastmasters International, when I called them on it, said, oh, it's always been like that. But it wasn't always like that. I
No.
don't know when it
I don't
changed.
think it was
But
either.
no, I don't think it was either. But, you know, it is like that now. So go ahead and if you are a member of multiple clubs, or dual member or triple member or whatever, when you submit a level or whatever, make sure that you can choose the club that you want it to go to, but also make sure that the base camp manager in that club is aware that you're submitting it and is sitting there with a finger on the mouse button to click it through. That's
Okay.
the best advice that I can give you.
That's okay.
But hopefully that's going to change. Heidi, yes.
Can I give some feedback on the question that was just talking about? So
Yes.
I belong to 4 different clubs too. So I am wanting to strategically put every reward to different club based on what they need. So I will talk to the VPE to let them know that don't click anything, because I have to make sure that the level 2 go to this club, the level 5 go to another club, so that my reward is not wasting. Sometimes it's a waste.
And isn't that horrible when that happens?
Exactly.
You work so hard and that club gets a level 5 that they didn't need. Right.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
agree.
So important is just you communicate with your VPE and let them know that I will tell you which one to click, which one to pick. That's all.
Communication, communication is key here.
Exactly.
And
that's what we're all about.
That's what we're all about. So,
Yeah.
And I'm just hopeful that when we get the new LMS, that will be fixed.
By the way, what does it mean by LMS? Do you know?
Learning Management System. And Pathways is a learning management system.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's what that stands for, LMS.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, yes.
No, but well done.
Oh, and the only other thing is, I think Anson put in here that if you want a copy of the presentation, to send an email to pathways@toastmastersd47.org, correct? I just want to make sure for everyone that's here. Is that right, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want a copy of Barbara's presentation, send an email to pathways@toastmastersd47.org. And Anson, maybe we can also just put that in the chat that we all have. Okay, just not our chat, not our meeting chat. What I'm thinking is even on the channel, if we came to the meeting, because that's how I popped in. I was gonna try to join, but I didn't register in time, and I was like, oh no. The registration's closed, so thank God I was able to get in with the link, right? So, just that's it.
Somebody is asking, will there be a special training for VPEs on Pathways? And that is up, it's not up to me. That's going to be up to Kathy and Anson. So
watch for the flyers.
Yeah. Yes, Alita?
I had another question. I forgot.
Oh,
you
okay.
you were talking about earlier about during the there's going to be the blackout, and then we're going to be in the new system. And you said if you like the My Documents file, I don't think I've ever used that My Documents, but there used to be a storytelling or a storybook thing, and I used to put all my long, especially my favorite speeches in that has that been discontinued?
That's probably, check your My Documents folder now.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that you have, everybody just check that if you think that you put something in the My Documents folder.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything to go in and check it, because it will be gone.
Yeah. I mean, I do have them all on a jump drive, but that little storytelling thing, it was kind of easy because.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And that,
Okay.
I just read the other day that anything that I didn't even know about that thing, and I looked at it, and then I found out, nope, that's gone too. So
Yeah.
anything in any of those folders is going to be gone. And I don't think that it's coming back. We haven't seen the new system yet, so we don't know exactly what's coming back. But to me, I never put anything in the My Documents folder. I know a lot of people did, because it was just as easy for me to store stuff on a folder on my computer. But other people loved it. But they, I always say Toastmasters doesn't call me when they make decisions. Because if they did, things would be different, but they don't. So that's just the way it is. All right. Any other questions before we go? I thank you all so much for sharing your hour with me. As I told you, Pathways is my hobby, and you might think I'm weird, and I am weird, but I'm always happy to share what I know. And we will be around for a while when we get the new system and everything else. So just keep speaking, record your speeches, and just keep speaking. Thank you so much for coming tonight. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
Bye-bye.